How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its awesome May savings sale right now, and with that, a lot of great deals are available, and we're looking at deals under the price of $20. A lot of great games at this price point, and if you want these games even cheaper, here is a word from our sponsor where you can get PSN cards even cheaper. This video is brought to you by cdkeys.com, where you can get PSN credit even cheaper. Just go on over to the site, pick whatever amount you want to buy, and you'll get it even cheaper. Check out, and immediately you will get a code that you can then redeem on the PlayStation Store. Redeem your code, and boom, you got your PSN credit, and you can buy any of the games we mentioned in this video even cheaper. You can buy games that just came out, like Stellar Blade upcoming games. System Shock Remake is coming out, Destiny 2 Final Shape, you've got SMT5 Vengeance in the near future, a lot of great titles coming out here in the near future, and you can get them even cheaper by getting your PSN credit over at CD Keys. Check out the links in the description box below. Anything you buy also directly supports this channel and is much appreciated. Now, on to the video. Let's get right into the video with a lot of great deals. Let's kick things off with Ghostwire Tokyo. It is 75% off for $14.99, a damn good price point for Ghostwire Tokyo. It was available on Plus Extra for a while. It has since been pulled, so little bit of a bummer there. Now you gotta buy the game, but for $15, I think Ghostwire Tokyo is a damn good pickup. It is done by Tango Gameworks, the same guys that brought you Evil Within 1 and 2, and more recently, Hi-Fi Rush. Obviously, Hi-Fi much different than the aforementioned games, but Ghostwire Tokyo is an incredibly atmospheric horror title. I think it's got a great setting. The visuals are fantastic. Sound design is great. Narrative starts off incredibly compelling, and then it kind of goes off the rails. It doesn't even really go off the rails. Rather, the pacing just gets really bad, especially towards the end of the game, and I feel like the latter portion of the game isn't all that satisfying from a narrative standpoint. The gameplay stays true the whole way through, and the game is fairly short if you just rush through the main story, but there is a lot of optional content. It does get a little redundant, but I think for $15 is a really solid pickup, and definitely the perfect price to pay. Since this game came out, they have dropped some updates as well, adding some more content, so that's pretty nice, but yeah, 15 bucks on that is great. Next up, we got Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, 50% off for $19.99. Ys, much like Tales of, is one of the most consistent JRPG franchises that you're gonna find. The games are just really good all the time. Now, I wouldn't say the games are blowaway from a visual standpoint. I mean, Ys 8 even came out on the PlayStation Vita. Not to, give a slight towards the Vita. The Vita pushed some pretty damn good visuals, and Ys 8 itself, I think, is a great starting point for you to get into the franchise. The story is quite good. A lot of mystery, even if the starting points are a little bit slower, but ultimately I do think the narrative picks up, and it is quite good. Action combat is great. Soundtrack is awesome. $19.99 is a great price for Ys 8, and this is the PS5 version. Next up, we got Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, 60% off for $19.99. This includes Resident Evil Village, the Winter's Expansion, the Trauma Pack, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Resident Evil Reverse. All of that is 60% off for $19.99. Village is a tremendous game. And by the way, if you are somebody that owns the VR too, I mean, you probably already own Resident Evil Village, but it is one of the better VR experiences you could also have. Resident Evil Village is an awesome game. Do play Biohazard Resident Evil first, but yeah, Resident Evil Village is a great game. A little bit on the shorter side, but that's what you're gonna get with a Resident Evil game, generally speaking, but a fantastic game to replay as well. 20 bucks for the Gold Edition, I think, is great. Next up, we got Stray, 34% off for $19.79. Now, this is one of those games that is just gonna hold up in price. It came out 2 years ago at this point, July of 2022, I believe it was, when they first introduced PlayStation Plus Extra. And it was a huge release back then. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. It has since held up in price, and $19.79 is really the best price that you're gonna get. Great setting, sound design's great, just a super chill game. If you want something that, offers you something different from a lot of the other games that you're gonna play in terms of being a challenging action title, which a lot of you guys I know are into, Stray does offer more of a sublime experience, so to speak. And for sub 20 bucks, I think this is a great price. Certainly would give it a recommendation. Next up, couple Monster Hunter titles. Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master Edition is $19.99. Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak is 67% off for $19.79. Both games with the respective expansions at sub 20 bucks a pop. That's a great deal. These games you can sink an absurd amount of time into. If you're getting into Monster Hunter World, is the game I would recommend. You gotta remember with Monster Hunter Rise, that was initially a Nintendo Switch game, so technically speaking, it has its limitations, and it's not as, let's just say, visually impressive as Monster Hunter World. World's a great game, Rise is pretty solid as well. You guys know what to expect out of the Monster Hunter gameplay loop. If you enjoy that style of grinding experience, you're gonna like these games. We'll see how Wilds turns out. A spoiler, I think it's going to be pretty damn good, but that'll be in 2025. So for now, if you do want one of the games, under $20 on those is pretty good. Next up, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Ultimate Edition, 85% off for $17.99. You guys know me on how I feel about the AC games these days, but I do try to be objective when talking about these games, and if you look at a game like Odyssey, especially the Ultimate Edition, with all of the content that you're getting, $18 for it is a bargain. Not only do you get the base game, you get the deluxe pack, you get the season pass with a lot of bonus content, and if that wasn't enough, you get a whole nother game in Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Oh, if that wasn't enough, that also includes Assassin's Creed Liberation Remastered. Yeah, Liberation isn't that great. I mean, I played it on the Vita when it initially came out, but it's still a decent little game to go through. And AC3, while I do think it's the weakest of the post-AC2 titles, you know, before AC Origins, like those style of Assassin's Creed games, I think AC3 is the weakest. I still think it's a pretty damn good game. I mean, it starts off super slow. I think with AC3, it was the one game where it was until like sequence 7 or 8 that you even got like the Assassin's Cloak, and that was like wild to me back in the day. I was like, bro, can we get the cloak already? But nonetheless, I still thought AC3 was a solid game, and maybe it wasn't sequence 6 or 7, maybe it was like 4, but I remember it was pretty deep into the game. That's all I'm saying. In comparison to like AC4, where, you know, you just get it right off the rip, but AC3, it took a while, but nevertheless, Odyssey itself is also a decent game, and it seems like as far as the newer style of Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey is the one everyone gravitates towards as calling it the best. I personally enjoyed Valhalla from the standpoint of I just dig Vikings, so it's like obviously Valhalla was going to be a game that I would enjoy a little bit more than the others, but Odyssey, by most accounts, people do like it the best. $18 for all the content, I think, is great. Next up, we got Dark Souls Remastered, 50% off for $19.99. Dark Souls 1 is one of the most iconic video games of all time, and really, I feel like kicked off the From Software tidal wave of colossal game after colossal game. Yes, Demon's Souls was big, but Demon's Souls was a PlayStation 3 exclusive back in October of 2009, where the PlayStation 3 still hadn't popped off. Dark Souls, on the other hand, came out in, I believe, fall of 2011. It was a multi-platform game. It got ported to PC as well, and then the explosion of Souls really started from there on out. It's a worthwhile game to go back to. Yeah, does it show its age, given that it's a game that's 13 years old at this point? Sure, but this remastered version does add some quality of life, and for $19.99, I mean, that's the best price you're gonna pay on these Bandai Namco FromSoft titles. Really, the FromSoft games in general. It's Sekiro holds up in price as well, but 20 bucks for this, pretty good. DS2 is on sale as well if you do want to check that out. Next up, we got Cities Skylines Premium Edition 2. If you're a Plus subscriber, you will get it for $13.99. This includes Cities Skylines as well as one of the season passes, the second season pass, which includes 3 major expansions: Green Cities, Park Life and Industries, the European Suburbia content pack, and 3 radio stations. Cities Skylines is one of those games that I think most people will say the best experience is on PC, but if you want the console version, they do a pretty good job of creating this for the console experience and for a controller. City builders aren't really my cup of tea, but City Skylines is a game that I had a lot of fun with, and certainly didn't get into it as much as a lot of other people, but I can see why people view it as this addictive experience. And City Skylines 2, unfortunately, it has its issues, to say the least, on PC, so it is what it is as far as that game's concerned, and I think Paradox is a publisher that a lot of people have their issues with, and rightfully so at this stage of the game. But nevertheless, $13.99 for that, I think, is pretty good. Next up, NieR Automata, Game of the YoRHa Edition, 60% off for $15.99. I mean, if you're one of the 4 people that haven't played NieR Automata that watch our channel, what have you been doing, my dude? NieR Automata is absolutely awesome. Action gameplay done phenomenally by Platinum Games. It's really Platinum Games at their best. Soundtrack is tremendous. Story, while it can be a little confusing, really comes together, and the intricacies of the narrative and the different layers, I think, work out really well. I would definitely give NieR Automata a playthrough. 60% off for $15.99 is such a great deal, and the gameplay is great, story solid, visuals still hold up, soundtrack is tremendous, and for this price point, definitely worthwhile to play through. Next up, gotta give our boys at RGG a shout. 80% off for Yakuza Like a Dragon, $11.99. Now, while When we talk about RGG, I often go to Judgment, more on that in a little bit, or Yakuza 0 as great entry points for the series. Yakuza Like a Dragon, not a bad option whatsoever to get started with the RGG titles, because Like a Dragon, while it is somewhat beneficial that you play the other Yakuza games, you can jump into Like a Dragon without playing the other games. Absolutely. It centers around a new protagonist in Ichiban, an awesome protagonist at that, and it's got its own story that, yes, again, if you do play the other Yakuza games, it'll help, but it's not necessary, it's not absolutely important, and with Infinite Wealth, that's where you really have to play Like a Dragon, and it would be ideal for you to play all of the other Yakuza games, because they bring in Kiryu as a main protagonist in Infinite Wealth as well. That's the difference between Like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth, really, and Infinite Wealth is a direct continuation of Like a Dragon's story, so, you know, just skipping out on Ichiban's introduction into Infinite Wealth makes no sense. So, Yakuza Like a Dragon, $12, it's a fantastic turn-based JRPG, so much content, so much variety in the content as well. Tremendous, tremendous game. Can't say enough good things about it. Go play this. Go play all the other Yakuza games. Go play Infinite Wealth as well after you're caught up, and thank me later because it's one of the best franchises you can get into. Speaking of RGG, we got PS5's version of Judgment, 70% off for $11.99. If you want the beat-em-up style of gameplay, Judgment's a great starting point with the RGG titles. It also centers around a different character in Yagami, and it tells its own story. Judgment is a great introduction to this character, has great gameplay, a great story, just a fantastic game all around. Lost Judgment, obviously available as well, direct sequel to Judgment. Hopefully we get a Judgment 3. Who knows if that'll happen, but Judgment was a fantastic game, and for $11.99, a good shout here as well. Next up, Soul Hackers 2, 70% off for $17.99. If you're into dungeon crawling JRPGs, Soul Hackers 2 I thought was a pretty damn good time. Soundtrack was great, that boss battle theme is fantastic, one of the best main characters in recent memory in Ringo, and the rest of the cast is pretty good as well. Story definitely has its mystery and is pretty compelling the whole way through. Some of the dungeon design, definitely not the best to say the least, but for $17.99, I think this is a great price, and I certainly would give it a recommendation to JRPG fans. Next up, we have Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload. 60% off for $15.99. You get both Danganronpa games. Danganronpa is one of the most quirky franchises that you're gonna find. When you look at Danganronpa at a surface level, you're gonna be like, bro, what is this game? Why are you recommending it to me? So on and so forth. That's what I thought when I initially went into Danganronpa 1. But you give this game 30 to 45 minutes, Danganronpa 1 that is, it'll hook you. Danganronpa 2, in my opinion, is even better. Predominantly, these games are visual novels, so keep that in mind. Very much narrative-driven, but if you're into your story-driven games, you're gonna have a great time with Danganronpa 1 and 2. 60% off for $15.99. Great deal there. And then lastly, gotta give Vanillaware's Odin Sphere Leifthrasir a shout. 75% off for $14.99. At this point, I've played every Vanillaware title. I've liked them quite a bit, and Odin Sphere was really the one that put them on the map, and you know, at this point, they're not the biggest studio in the world, but their games have been remarkably consistent. And Odin Sphere was a great game. Art style's great, gameplay's great, story's pretty good, soundtrack solid. $15 for Odin Sphere. Fantastic deal here as well, and definitely one worth adding to your library. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $20. Check out all of them. Links in the description box below. And if you are interested in getting PSN credit a little bit cheaper, go and check out our friends over at CD Keys. We'll have links to various PSN cards that you could buy as well. They've got other stuff for sale on there. All you have to do, buy a code, you redeem it on your PlayStation Network account, and you'll be good to go. But that'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.